Hi, this is Laura Solomon at Oakland, and in today's tutorial, we're going to take a look at allowing users to choose something from a select list. So we're going to go ahead and choose Add Element. We're of course on the Build tab of our test form that we have been working through in this series. I'm going to go ahead and click Add Element, which will pop open this box that we're used to seeing, and we're going to scroll all the way down, almost all the way down, to the options elements. And we've already covered checkboxes, we've already covered radios, and we've already covered the other versions of those. You'll notice, and I'm not going to be covering these, there are also table and table select and table sorts. We encourage you not to use anything with tables whenever possible. There's two major issues with tables on websites, which is why we don't cover these. The first one is that it's very difficult to make tables accessible for assistive technology. Secondly, they don't always appear correctly at smaller resolutions. For example, when a site resizes for a smartphone, there's not always a real clean look to it, and it can be very confusing. So we encourage you to leave those alone and not use them. So we're going to cover select, and you'll notice that select, just like radio and checkboxes, has an other option. We're going to go ahead and choose just the regular select, which gives you a drop-down menu or a scrolling selection box. So we'll see what that looks like. Let's go ahead and click Add Element next to Select, and it will open up this box that we're used to seeing. And notice there's also a key and a title, just like with everything else. We're going to call this, we've been using fruits. Let's use just vegetables. Choice. Remember, no spaces, no capitals, just if you need to separate out words, either put them together, use a dash or an underscore. And the title, we're going to say, choose a vegetable. And this works very much like the checkboxes option in that you can limit people to one choice or several choices. So you can limit it and say people can only choose 2 vegetables or 3 vegetables. I'm going to say just 1 in this case. And we're going to come back and edit this, and I'm going to show you what this will look like with allowing people to choose more than one, because they do look a little different in the case of the select element. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down, and this looks very similar to what we've seen with checkboxes and with radios. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, we're not going to use apples this time. Let's say carrot, and the option text is going to be carrot also. Let's say this is lettuce, and how about a cucumber? Cucumber, okay. And people can choose one of those. So notice you also have the opportunity to add additional options. So if you need more than 3, you can do that. There's an empty options label, which you'll notice this is not something you've seen before. And if you mouse over the question mark, you get actually a rather nice explanation of it. You'll see that how it will default if it's required or if this field is optional. I'm just going to leave this alone so you can see what it looks like at the default. We're going to scroll past these other things, which you probably will not use. This area, the element description /help/more, is the same as with every other element that we've added. So I'm going to bypass those as well. Same for the form display and form validation. So I'm going to leave this as unrequired or not required so that you can see what the empty option will look like. We're going to come back and edit this field afterwards. You can see how some of these, some of those edits will affect what it looks like. So let's go ahead and click Save. And there's our choose a vegetable, and you can see that it's now this is a select. So what does this look like on the field? Let me move my recording window. See what it looks like on the form. Go ahead and click View, and we're going to scroll down to the bottom. And now you'll see that here's our checkboxes. Here are our radios. Both of those were fruits, if you recall. And then choose a vegetable is now a select list, and people can choose one of these vegetables. But let's go ahead and make a couple changes to the select field so that people can choose more than one. And we're going to make it required so you can see what that looks like. I'm going to go back up to the Build tab and go back down to the Choose a Vegetable field. And this time I'm going to choose Edit. And it opens up this box again that we were just using. And now I'm going to say, people can choose 2 vegetables. Now it does pop up a message here, a new field when you do that. Custom allowed number of values, error message, and we'll go ahead and mouse over that question mark. These are very handy helpers. So you can see that this is used when an element's allowed number is exceeded. So in other words, if people try to choose too many, so I'm going to say only 2 vegetables are allowed. Okay, so I'm going to not make any changes here, although I could if I wanted to add more options. Obviously, I'm in the edit mode. I'm going to go down here, and this time we're going to make this required. And remember, every time you make something required, you need to include a required message. So you must choose at least 1 vegetable. Okay, so we're going to change that, and I'm going to go ahead and save it again. And we're back at our Build tab. I'm going to scroll up to get to the View tab and move my recording window over just a bit. I'm going to quickly scroll down to the bottom. And now you can see that this looks different. Choose a vegetable is now required. And you can see here that there's no longer because this is something where people can choose more than one. There isn't an any or a none empty option now. And also, this works like every other field like this on the web. So you use the Control key to select or deselect which of these you'd like. So people can still choose one, but we can only choose up to 2. In fact, if we try to submit this with 3, it will give us a message saying you can only choose 2. I'm not going to go ahead and do that now, but I wanted to show that to you. That is the end of the fields that we're going to be working with in the form. The next thing that we're going to be looking at is how to process your form. Once this is submitted, what happens to that information? Thanks for watching.